You took to Twitter this week to defend the most prominent woman there, the vice president, after there were stories about her this weekend that mentioned low approval ratings, allegations of staff problems. Some of her allies have attributed this to sexism. Do you think she is receiving more criticism because she's the first woman and first woman of color to serve as vice president?
Yes. Criticism from the outside? Absolutely. I do think that it has been easier and harsher from some in the right wing who have gone after her because she is the first woman of color. I'm not suggesting anyone will acknowledge that publicly, but I think there's no question that the type of attacks, the attacks on her, that certainly being the first, which she is many times over, is part of that. What I would note, though, and one of the things I really admire about the vice president, she is the first African American woman of color, Indian American woman to serve in this job. Woman, I mean, so many firsts, right? It's a lot to have on your shoulders. She is somebody who, at a much higher level than the rest of us, but who wants to be seen as the talented, experienced, expert, substantive policy person, partner to the president that she is. But I do think there has been some attacks that are beyond because of her identity.
But her approval ratings are low. I mean, do you think that's spreading to the American people when they answer some of these polls and have an opinion about her?
Look, I think we've seen, it's not a secret, Anita, we've seen some drop in approval ratings, across the board. I will say that we also have to be, and we are very sober about the fact that there are some challenges, real challenges people are going through in this country. We're working to try to fix them. But people are fatigued. They're tired of COVID. They're sick and tired of worrying about their kids. They're worried about whether they're going to be safe at work. They want everything to be functioning as normal again. We're not quite there. There's a range of reasons for that. All of them go back to COVID, but the Delta variant, which impacted everything from the origin of COVID to the supply chain to inflation. But we know this impacts people on a human level at their kitchen table in a lot of different ways. And the buck stops here. The president, the vice president, they'd be the first to say this. So what our focus just has to be every day, Anita, is not worrying about that too much and focusing on how we can fix things, make things better, and certainly, hopefully, the polls will follow.